On record sound effects for video games.
Oh!
How did that get through approval at the development team? All right, we need 4 different sounds for eating food. All right, cool. One will be chewing, one will be swallowing, one will be smelling the food, and the 4th one will be
angry.
Officially, one of the most what's the word for this?
Gregarious.
I was gonna say probably the game that I have the biggest nostalgia memories for, but every time I go back and play it, I get bored after the first 2 levels.
Yeah, I mean that's how I feel about your guys' Dynasty Warriors, because just clicking. I get the just savagely going through it, but
savagely going through. Well, there's so many characters in Dynasty though. I guess that's
but y'all clicking, right?
Click, different combos though. Why does this look uneven?
Because it's uneven.
Well, you don't even start with me, okay?
You're not even.
God, fuck.
I hate. Are you saying Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?
What about that?
What?
I don't know if he plays sports.
I watched Major League the other day. Some quotes in that movie are fucking hilarious.
I haven't seen it in a very long time. Very long time.
Are you telling me that Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball? What kind of quote is that? That's one of the greatest things I've ever heard.
Depends on the context, I guess. Was the sin of the world at stake? I feel like if it was, then he'd probably hit that curveball. Clink. My clanky. Whoa. Sometimes it's not working. Are you ready? I want to talk about cookies.
Do you want cookies?
No. I want to talk. I want to talk about them. I don't want them right now.
I'll take a cookie.
Look at me, a cookie.
Cookies?
I need an ottoman.
An ottoman?
Yeah, I need to put my legs up on something.
Use your wife.
Sometimes I do, but she's not recording here.
Wife, you busy over the next hour and a half?
She's not here. What are we having? What's happening?
Look at that chicken. Do you have that chicken? Breast that chicken.
I want chicken.
All right. Recording. Oh, fuck. I'm getting sidetracked.
That's why you got to stop talking about chicken.
It's chicken.
Give me chicken.
What do you do for work?
Sugar and water.
Sugar. How is that normal living activity that she doesn't... She thought it was just kind of weird. It wasn't like, where's Edgar?
What the hell, Edgar?
Sugar and water. Oh, he must be on one of those binges again. One of them special diets. Edgar, you savage. Record there. Record here.
Oh my God.
I'm rolling. Rolling like a bunion on a Tuesday. I hate this thing. I hate this thing.
What's wrong with you? Stop it.
I'm going to go the other way.
Just get one of these little foam balls, and you don't need the pad thing. Or do you?
I'm about to.
Oh, that didn't really stop that at all.
This thing is not tight. There we go. Try it again. Can you do it this time? That doesn't work. All right, now it's growling at me. Fucking thing. I'll just hold it.
Part of it's disappearing. These are like 50 cents, these balls.
I know. I didn't order it.
Well, I have extra. You can't
usually
have
don't
them,
mind this thing, but
I mean, that's technically better, but it's less convenient.
convenient store there. Perfect. Don't move. Activate.
Don't say your P's too loud. It might shudder.
Hands. Hands.
I want to see a video of someone trying to sing a vocal track, but leaving off all the P's or all the plosives. P's, B's, and D's, and T's.
Yeah.
Pants.
How would
Elbow
you
baggins.
sing to your sweet baby?
Oh, what a prologue.
Mm-hmm.
Are you drinking Liquid Death?
No.
What? It looks kind of like it.
No, it's a classic one.
Oh, Monster.
I'm gonna be up a little late.
I was
tonight 'cause
gonna
we got
say.
the Browns going on.
Oh,
In the
boy.
playoffs for the first time in 20 years.
Maybe I'll watch that while I build the dress.
kids.
Oh God, sorry, I hit that by accident.
Oh, that would have been the best.
Fuck it, let's go.
Okay, kids, let's go.
Shh, shh.
Hey Mopar, where's the spatula?
Hold on to your.
Oh.
Reginald Starfield. That's what I'm naming my kid. Reginald Starfield.
Reginald Starfield Mopar.
Crouton Terabyte.
Hello there.
Crouton James. Smokehouse.
Good day, Galaxy. Rogue Squadron Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Mopar.
My name is Commander Cody.
Got the sniffles.
Are you actually sick or are you just sniffling for no reason?
When I spend too much time inside, I have like indoor allergies, especially when we do the fireplace.
I spend too much time inside. I got indoor allergies.
No, that's what happens. I can't fucking breathe.
That's not a real thing.
Indoor allergies are a thing.
I mean, if you're allergic to things in the house like the cats, but you've had cats your whole life, you're not allergic to them, obviously.
You can.
I'm allergic to cats.
I think I might be slightly.
Time to get dogs.
Yeah. Thank goodness.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I haven't done anything nerdy, to be honest, as of the past week. Before we jumped on, the only nerdy thing, I jumped up back onto Shadows of the Empire, and I'm trying to beat Boba Fett, man. I finally got to him. I literally had to Google. I had to go on YouTube because I gave up. I gave up trying to, because there's just an empty hangar minus an ATST, and I thought maybe there was like somewhere to go, something to activate, but you literally have to stand there and shoot the fucker until he dies. And I was assuming that wasn't the deal, but
yeah, don't overthink it in games back then.
Yeah, and it's a bitch because like you use the mouse to walk, but if you hold the letter V on your keyboard, it all of a sudden becomes aim.
Okay.
So you're running with your WASD, and then you slide down and hold V to look up. So now you can no longer run. Now you're just looking.
Like GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Super fucked controls.
So you have to run behind the ATSD, hold V, reverse up because it's reversed.
Inverted.
Yeah, it's inverted. Thank you. And so you just have to do that over and over. It's a bitch. But
that sounds like no fun at all.
It was, well, I'm glad I looked it up, because if I would have kept searching and flying around, I would have got more frustrated. So I got past the ATSD, I got to Boba Fett, and now the real challenge begins. So
that's good.
He's flying around shooting rockets at me, and all I can do is die. So,
do you have any Sarlacc pits in your inventory? That always works.
Do you have any beaks to nibble on them?
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like fun.
It's
but
a
it
decent
honestly,
game, to be honest.
it sounds like nostalgia, which is always good. Challenging though it may be. But yeah, I was actually saying before we started recording, like, we always quote and have memories of Gauntlet Legends. But I think that's one of those games that I have such a strong memory of, but every time I go back and play, I get bored of really quick or get frustrated with it.
Well, games have evolved so much that like the small aspects, not the small, but the many aspects that we enjoyed in games like GoldenEye are so outdated.
Oh yeah.
We like the multiplayer. Everything's multiplayer now. We like the maps. The maps back then are so small compared to what we have now. You know,
Yeah.
even you go back to GoldenEye, and then you go to like Halo, and it's fucking brand new again.
Yeah.
Well, Halo
Halo changed the game.
way ahead of all
Yeah.
of it because the maps were so big.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. I go as far back. Well, I'm a dangus. I go all the way back to the original Nintendo, but side scrollers are another thing. Those are fairly simple, and they hold up quite a bit better than first person shooters if you go that far back.
Kinda, because they were so simple. I mean, N64 had a. I mean, those games are so tough because it was the first 3D there was. Really, you know what I mean? It was the first 3 dimensions, so they were making games on a totally new style back then, and only some of them got it right. I mean, Mario 64 is still obviously incredible, but yeah, games like GoldenEye are hard to play, Shadow of the Empire hard to play. Yeah.
Perfect Dark, yeah. It's the aiming. It's gotten so smooth, and the controllers are so much more advanced that it feels like playing with a toy. You go back to an N64 and you're like, what the fuck? How did I hold this? How many fingers did I have when I was 10?
I know, it's crazy.
But
speaking of controllers, how's your new Xbox controller holding up? Good.
I'm very happy with it. No issues. It does seem to go through my rechargeable batteries quicker, but maybe that's just because I'm playing more. I'm still on the Far Cry 5, trudging through that. But yeah, it's just something I notice. It pops up more often, but again, I just might be on it more often. I don't know. But yeah, overall, I'm very happy with it. The grips on the back of it are a game changer for me. I really like having something to hold on to.
I agree. Besides the controller itself, yeah,
it's so small, or it's so slight, but
small difference.
For $40, I was like, fuck, that's a normal controller price. Give me 2.
Well, normal controllers are $60.
That's what I'm saying.
So
cheaper than normal.
That's not what you said.
Well, you know what I'm saying about not saying about what I know. Oregano.
I don't say things.
So,
yeah.
Jared, okay. Thank
Matt,
you guys for tuning in.
Thanks for joining. Cameron Smith. Love you all. Mopar, today's a historic day.
Ooh, Sunday.
Do you want to know why?
Browns game.
Because it's Sunday. I knew you were going to fucking say that. So what's the deal with the Browns? Should I watch later today? I am
if
from
you
Ohio.
want to, we're underdogs, but this is the first time.
You don't say. The Browns are underdogs.
This year we went 11-5. So we won 11 games, only lost 5. That is historic, first of all, for the Browns.
Absolutely.
And we made the playoffs, which, regardless, it's been 18 years since we've even made the playoffs. We did nothing 18 years ago, and we've never won anything. So
yeah,
in the NFL, it's crazy to even get to the playoffs because that gives you an opportunity. That's all I'll say. We are most likely going to lose tonight. But
and who are they playing tonight?
The Steelers, our rivals.
Oh shit! Okay.
Who we played who we beat last week. So it's a double up here. So, but this one means something. So we'll see what happens.
My family's going to be up in arms because our cousin Pig is from Pittsburgh, so he's a Steelers fan through and through, and all the cousins are Browns fans. So
he's a mofo.
They it's fun and all in jest, but they feud with each other on a regular basis.
Yeah,
Honk gets very mad.
It is weird because like growing up in Cleveland, like you don't even think about it. Your enemy is Pittsburgh Steelers, and there's like nothing hateful against like the people that are fans, but it's just like something ingrained that you're just like, that guy has a Steelers hat on. Fuck that guy. You're like, I don't even know him.
Teams, man.
It is really weird. Regional, and it's all part of the Rust Belt here. So there's like those 4 teams, and only one of them's ever been good.
Right. Steelers.
Detroit sucks.
Yeah.
Cleveland's always been terrible, and Buffalo's always been terrible.
Yep.
All of a sudden, 3 out of the 4 are great. Buffalo is doing great.
Yeah.
Steelers went on a hell of a run, and then the Browns. So that's the end of that.
It's the end of the football squadron.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know peripherally that the Bills are doing good because Every Time I Die, one of my favorite bands is from Buffalo, and they actually have like crossover merch like with their band and the Buffalo Bills and stuff, and usually on Instagram on the weekend they're watching football instead of playing heavy metal. So
Yeah.
I see things. I don't really know what's going on, but I see things.
I have noticed the same thing with BT Bam, by the way. BT Bam does North Carolina stuff,
Yeah, no doubt.
merch. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
The other side note, if you want to talk about bands and crossing into other fields, is
I might want to.
Oceano is a great heavy metal band, and they do like nerdy collabs, and they have like a Mario 64 Oceano shirt. So it's
Oh, nice.
some fun stuff.
I can dig it.
Yeah, it's always cool to see like metalheads be nerdy or metalheads be, some other things, because we're just humans, guys.
I'm
We're
not.
just regular old people.
I'm a clone.
I'm
I'm a
oh,
clone.
yeah.
I'm subhuman. Piece of subhuman shit. Actually, before you derailed my conversation by talking about the Browns and football, what I was going to say is that it's a historic day because we've been around. We've been around for 7 years.
I am now 7 years old, Bubba.
7 years old, man. Yeah. 2014 in January, in my place 5 apartments ago,
Sugar Run.
we started talking about PT Bam and
Panama.
walking sticks and beer and Van Halen. And now here we are, 254 episodes and a bunch of commentaries and bonus episodes and live events later. Yeah, it's been a fun ride.
7 years.
And now we're shutting it down.
Guys, thank you for shutting
I
it
hated the
down.
High Republic so much that I'm quitting Star Wars. Just kidding. I'm not that far in to hate it.
Not enough to hate it. I'll let you know.
I'm not far in enough to hate it yet. I'll let you know.
But speaking of hate, Commander is gonna touch upon one of the recent movies that has been launched.
I did catch Wonder Woman. Yeah.
I have not, but I don't give a shit. You can do spoilers if you want.
Yeah.
I'll catch it at some point just because I need to. But
There's
I'm
no
not-
spoilers.
I'm not in line. I heard something about a wishing stone, and I was like, I don't even want to watch it.
There's nothing, unless you're like unless you read all the comics, I don't think you'd really know what's going on. I didn't recognize any of the plots or the characters or whatever. So there's no like, oh, the Joker dies. There's no spoilers really. So yeah, I'll dive into it. We caught 2 movies this weekend, actually. Wonder Woman was one of them, but we also watched Soul, the new Disney Pixar movie, which was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
Fantastic.
It took a weird turn, a turn I didn't expect.
Right.
I thought it was gonna be pretty straightforward, and then when he died, I was like, what the fuck?
I almost didn't catch it. I was like, wait a second. He's
Yeah,
a little
because
blue
it's quick.
orb now. Yeah.
He just falls, and then you're like, oh, we're here.
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
No, it's a good. They always do those great underlying messages in their
the
movies.
best.
Disney, Pixar, they all do the best. So
Yeah.
if only
Foxx,
Wonder Woman could do
fantastic. If only they could. I don't know why. I watched the movie and I'm like, how did this get through and approved and then shot with no one catching all of these things? Like, it's not like slight differences. It's not like, oh, I wish they would have done this in the lightsaber fight instead of that. It's like none of these threads went where they were supposed to go. This doesn't make any sense.
none of this matters.
Nothing else matters. Yeah. Do you want me to shit on it or do you want to talk about Star Wars first?
Honestly, so the High Republic book came out. A lot of patrons have blasted through the audiobook.
Yeah, Shinobi and Hogan already fucking finished that.
Yeah, and I've heard nothing but good things, so I'm pretty hyped for it.
Same.
And I can't speak on my own experience, obviously, because I just got my book. But Shinobi, long and short of it, said, he likes Star Wars for the light side, dark side, and everything in between. And he's like, this touches upon none of that, and he loves it. So it's like, oh, we're brand new.
Interesting.
I'm ready for it.
Nice.
So yeah, no spoilers. We're not going to get into it. I'm sure over the next 5 years, I'll be trudging through that. But
It might
yeah,
make sense to finish the whole thing before we talk about it. I know
Yeah,
there's already reviews and stuff out there, but I actually bought it and then I also bought the audiobook because I'm an idiot. I bought them both. So I've been like reading a couple chapters and then when I leave the house, I'll listen to a few more on the audiobook and then I'll jump back into like the text. So I've been bouncing back and forth like that. I think I'm about seven chapters in.
Okay.
So not too far, but I'm digging it so far. I'm not like glued to the page like I usually am with books, but I do like it. So
Yeah, I've gotten to the point where I'm gonna have to just shut off my Audible again because I've got so many credits that build up that I just need
Republic credits.
to. Yes. So
Nice.
I might do the same thing purposely.
It's nice. I
And
mean, the
buy the
production on the
audiobook.
audiobooks for Star Wars are always really good.
Oh yeah, and they'd always do some like sound effects and that sort. So it's nice.
Yeah, nice sound design, nice music. It's good.
So,
Yeah, but I don't know what it is.
it's not
Don't
itching
know
the
what
buzz,
it
man.
is. It's not itching the buzz. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what it is. I don't even want to talk. I don't even want to think about it negatively until I get further into the book. I'm not captured like I hope to be.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
As I do every 4th episode, I search Star Wars on Google and click news here. Not a bunch of stuff. I do see Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2.
Nice.
Let me actually
News, release date, updates. Hopefully holiday 2021.
I'm gonna see if they have a release date. There was a kind of a shitty says it needs to address a Mandalorian plot hole. I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, fuck that.
But I am interested to see if they do have a release date yet. I am not seeing anything.
Yeah, Fucko's in the chat. He loved Wonder Woman 84.
He would.
He also loved New Gunray. So, what do you expect? I was also wondering about a release date for the Bad Batch. I hope it's soon.
So claimed a launch in fall of 2022. We've got a couple years there,
Oh,
bros.
Christ.
Yeah, we got about a year and a half before Fallen Order 2.
Why can't they do things faster?
It's
I shouldn't say that because every time they do things faster, look at Cyberpunk or Battlefield 5 or anything else, everyone's pissed.
let me ask you this. Did you ever play any of the Jedi Knight series?
I
Dark
played
Forces?
some in the past few years, like
Yeah.
going back retro. I never played them when they came out when I was a youngster.
One of my favorites.
They were mostly on PC, and I didn't really play PC
Yeah.
games back then.
One of my favorites was Jedi Knight Outcast.
Jedi Outcast, yeah.
It was a lot smoother than I had ever expected. It was a fun game, especially with the lightsaber that you kind of, I don't know, it was just smooth. And I was kind of just thinking, like comparing it to Fallen Order. Fallen Order, I felt restricted quite a bit, which maybe it's just the realistic aspects of going into gaming nowadays. With they put like fucking gravity in there and shit, stuff that like makes sense.
Physics,
it's weird.
Yes.
Yeah, it's weird to say that, but video games defied gravity and physics constantly in old games.
Yeah.
You jump like 12 feet and you're just a dude and you're like, what the fuck?
A plumber.
I'm a plumber.
A short plumber.
I'm a short plumber. Jumps 12
Yeah.
feet. I actually prefer the Outcast. I like extending reality a little bit. Make me jump further. Make me shoot farther. I don't want. It is cool to experience a game that's really close to how physics actually work and all that. But we're in a galaxy far, far away. Fuck it.
Well, I've said this a million times when we were talking about Fallen Order last year, but it's almost like a Star Wars skin for Dark Souls, and I'm a huge Dark Souls fan, so I was into the combat already. But I guess in defense of the game, it should be very difficult to lightsaber duel. So the fact that it is hard to get used to, and you have more obstacles in your way instead of just swinging away as fast as you possibly can. You know what I mean? I do kind of like that combat style. I feel like when I went back and played some of the older ones, when you do have a lightsaber, like if you hit somebody and they block it, you don't like bounce back or deflect. Like I feel like you're just kind of flailing around like Luke and Jabba's sail barge until they die.
No, that's exactly it. There's no targeting system. There's no attack system in the old games. You are flailing and you like jump at a dude and you're literally hoping to hit him and you're just clicking away as attack. But there's different stuffs because even in the old ones, the Dark Jedi would be able to block. So you'd have to do something to get them to stop blocking and then go at them or use some force powers or you could always do the boop. You get to certain because those old games when you got hit hard, you would actually fly back.
Nice.
And you could do the same thing. So you could boop someone off the
boop.
fucking
Lucio's in Jedi Knight.
Yes.
Nice.
He's the
Now
last.
I'm gonna go play it.
Ooh, ee, ah, meh, 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 meh. Yeah. Who's your
I heard
least
that
favorite
already.
person?
My least favorite person? Probably Jared.
In the chat. Probably.
Just kidding.
Probably
I don't
fuck
even
out.
know. I don't even know how to answer that.
Yeah. What do
I
you
don't
wish?
know.
What do you wish in Star Wars? What do you wish was better? I don't even want to specify anything.
Episode 9.
What? Okay.
Sorry,
Rightfully
that was
so.
on my mind because I know we were talking about it last episode, and then
Sure.
I watched one or two YouTube videos kind of dissecting it. I usually don't do that. Like when the movie came out, I only watched like Star Wars Explained review of Rise of Skywalker because I have a feeling that if you go down that YouTube rabbit hole, you're just gonna get fed up a bunch of like, why the Rise of Skywalker is terrible.
Yeah, they already got an agenda. Yeah.
So
It's
I hadn't
not a
watched
review.
Right, I hadn't watched many of those, but because it was on my mind, we were talking about it last week. I watched two of those earlier today, and it is just top of mind, like how it went so close to hitting the mark, and then it was just like, fuck off with these very important plot lines.
Yeah, and Travis is trolling us here. Didn't you guys love Episode 9 when it came out?
I did.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I mean, it's a new Star Wars film. It's gonna rank higher up front, as everything does.
That was actually one thing that the guy that I was watching said about JJ's directing style is that it's so fast paced and it's so flashy and there's so much action that when you are watching it for the first, even second, third time, it's so fast paced that you don't have a chance to like sit and think about how deep the story is. But then every time you go back and rewatch it, you realize how shallow it is every time. So,
yeah.
man, all I had to see in that movie was Rey Force Lightning destroy a cruiser, and my mind was so like encapsulated with that and like the Force powers. I couldn't think of anything else the first watch through. That and Palpatine skeleton zombie clone thing.
Yep, on Exegol, a Sith planet. There was a lot of legends. There's a lot of legend stuff that they kind of touch upon, but they skate right over major shit.
Yeah.
Like Kylo, the first scene we see, Kylo is supposed to be on Mustafar.
Yeah, at Darth Vader's castle, slaughtering people.
It takes 10 seconds. You see, and then he grabs the thing and he's off. You're like, why the fuck didn't we spend another 30 seconds on Mustafar?
Yeah.
You could have even had him walking back to his ship and shown Vader's castle in the background. That would have been just a huge suggestion to us. And it would have been like, dude, Kylo was at the fucking But instead it was just in some trees, cut some leaves and leave. And you're like, what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, my frustration is wrapped up into it. It's a jumble of a movie. There are many aspects that I appreciate that they put into it. Episode 9 was fun right off the bat. It was fun.
I felt the same way about Rogue One. First two times I was so blown away by the Vader sequence and the fight at the end. That's what I left the movie on. It was such a high at the Vader scene and then how it connects right into A New Hope. It wasn't until third, fourth, fifth, sixth viewing that you start to dissect it a little bit more. I think that's actually why we started not reviewing Star Wars movies until we've seen them 2 or 3 or more times, because we got out of the theater Last Jedi and I felt the opposite way. And that one, however, has been getting better with age, unlike some of the other ones, which I'm kind of like shocked into loving when I first walk out of the theater, and then it starts to decline a little bit. That sounds harsh, but that's kind of how I feel right now.
So you're saying Rogue One has slipped in your rankings recently?
It did. When I walked out of the theater, I was in shock, and I was like, this is the best Star Wars thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, it was the first, standalone movie.
And as time has gone on, that's obviously changed. I mean, I don't hate it by any means. And it's just even more extreme of a change with Episode 9. But Last Jedi has gone the other direction for me.
So I think I'm on the bell curve where you start high, you go down when you kind of realize, and then I'm on the way back up with
the opposite of a bell curve.
Well, right, yeah. So we're on a trench curve here. Yeah, I think I'm on the way back up because I do appreciate like the Rogue One characters. I do appreciate K2SO.
Sure. Yeah.
I think for them creating a movie around a plot hole, literally a hole, it's a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
They could have shit the bed with that easily, trying to force something down our throats. And I thought the nice little spice of Tarkin was like, and he wasn't in there too much, but he stands his ground, makes it feel like shit, and then you're off, and you're like, fuck, Tarkin's so cool.
Yeah.
And then you obviously you end with the savagery, but yeah, I think I'm on the way back up, and I've been on the way back up with Rogue One for a while, but yeah. You wear off that shiny new feeling, and then you watch it and you really break down, why do I like this? And then you're like, I have no idea. This sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you think that about every Star Wars movie at some point. I think so.
Yeah, true.
It pops up into your head. Did you have something in mind that you absolutely hated when you asked me that question?
It was just in general, we're Star Wars fans are the biggest shitters, so we like shitting on everything that we love. I guess my thing would be the Star Wars video games, the lack.
Absolutely.
Lack of quality.
Yep.
It's just the biggest glaring hole in the Star Wars universe right now. I mean, the books have been not to par in my head, but they've been at least blasting them out. The comics have been great. The movies, think of what you want. The series, brand new. The shit's out there. But the games, like, we got one terrible game in Battlefront.
Yeah.
And the Battlefront 2 was like, okay, this
terrible launch, which they gradually fixed over
Right.
2 years and then dropped out of nowhere.
Yeah. But Battlefront 2, it stands fine. It's okay. And then, Fallen Order was a great game, but I played through it once and now I don't want to play it anymore. And to be honest, Squadrons kind of didn't hit the mark for me.
I would still like to revisit that with co-op
too.
and not multiplayer.
Yeah, it's Star Wars. I don't know what I want from Star Wars at this point. I really don't, because we get what we want, and it's like, why didn't they surprise me? And it's just like, well, you got what you asked for. Yeah, fuck me. I don't want. What?
I didn't want that. I just wanted to want it.
I just wanted.
I don't actually want it. I just wanted to want it.
I just wanted the bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Squadrons it's like laying pretty flat with me. I don't hate it. It's it's fun. But I still to this day find myself going back to Starfighter Assault on Battlefront 2 because it's so smooth.
Interesting.
Of a gameplay. Squadrons is very clunky and there's so much to pay attention to, and they try to do the squad up, let's play together, but it's so hectic out in space. It's like it's just hard
for
to
people
do.
that are like that fall in to that type of game easily. It's probably perfect. It's probably like the first time we played Battlefield 4 and there was all these different classes and tagging and squad commands and all that.
Yeah.
We felt that kind of way about it. So I don't think flight simulators are really our thing.
Yeah.
That's probably what a big piece of it is.
I mean, I'm good at it.
I think you're terrible at Squadrons. That's why you don't like it.
No, I'm good at it. It's just
Kidding.
Well, I guess the other thing was it had that Battlefront 2 aspect of, the first mission is a guy on the Empire and he turns his back on it immediately. You're like, what the fuck? Flashback?
It's Star Wars. Have you ever seen Star Wars before?
So
haven't you ever seen Star Wars?
No major gripes, man. I'm just, there's more stuff for people to shit upon. That's it.
That's true. No, I hear you in the video game category for sure. I feel like just development and time and everything for games these days, it's so long. So when a game does come out and it's such a disappointment, it's like, well, that's all we had now for like 2 years.
I guess what I always look for in a Star Wars game was the storytelling aspects. I think that's why KOTOR hit us so hard. And we go back to it even for how clunky and shitty it feels today.
It's always story, yeah.
Because it's story driven. And, I think that's why Fallen Order felt right, because it was an interesting story about Jedis that we didn't know.
Yeah.
And we got to experience Order 66 from a different point of view, which was awesome.
Yep.
We got to experience Vader from a different point of view. We don't get that anywhere else. The Battlefront 2, terrible. It was like fucking camp. Yeah.
It was on to, it had a good start.
Yeah.
They were on to
saw
something
some Luke.
there.
Yeah. And then they just kind of dropped off. And
well, it was like a 4-hour campaign.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to have this story about from the Empire's point of view. And I'm not even mad that Iden Versio changes sides. I'm just mad that it happens like 30 minutes in, 45 minutes
Immediately,
in.
yeah.
It's like ridiculously slow. Like that should have been 12, like 10, 12 hours.
Oh, and they planted some deep seeds, and then they ripped them right out because her dad was on the Imperials.
Yeah.
He's like, go do this, and she's like, I don't wanna change. And then she's in the next wing. The next, you're like, what the fuck happened?
And then they're like, go blow up your dad's ship. She's like, I don't want to. I'm going to save him. I'm a good guy. I save people.
That's what we do.
Anyways. I actually totally forgot that Battle of Jakku was in that game. That's how bad the campaign was.
I didn't.
Like, that should have been... Because we heard about the Battle of Jakku, but we never saw or like read anything about it. Like, that should have been huge, I feel. But fuck off with that.
Well, the other thing, Inferno Squad was actually a pretty fun book. I did not expect anything out of it. Maybe that's why it hit so well for me.
Probably.
But the campaign, come swing and a miss there.
Boo. Farmboy asks how we feel about Solo.
It's fine. Yeah, I like Solo. I guess my biggest gripe would be the Lando aspects, which I don't even dislike, but we spoke about that last episode where it just added nothing to the character of Lando, which I felt was out of place. Like, this is your opportunity. He was just the exact same arrogant, cheating card player that I expected. I don't know. I figured they'd do a little bit more with the Lando Han aspects. The only thing that a little bit of character growth with Lando that we saw was that one little sentence where he talks about he wasn't really close to his dad, and Han says me neither or something like that. So they have that in common.
Yeah.
And then that was it. I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you on that. However, on one hand, I kind of like it because I feel like Han is the kind of guy that would tell the girl he's into, like, oh yeah, I got this good friend from back in the day. We're buddies. He'll hook us up, even though he's saw him once, stole his ship, and hasn't seen him in 15 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
That's exactly how he would talk about someone like Lando. He just seems like that kind of guy.
Those false promises. That's all Han is.
Exactly.
Oh, he's a great friend. Fucker.
Yeah. I'm turning you into Vader. I love Solo. I talk about it all the time. It's I was gonna say it's up in my top 5, but I feel like when there's only 11 movies, top 5 is not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's right in the middle of the pack. Yeah.
I like it a lot. I mean, it's pushing. I might even say like top 3 Star Wars movies.
What? Well, okay. Never mind.
Why?
I was gonna say, what if it's top 5? What would be below it? Is episode 3 below it?
I have a love-hate relationship with 3.
Yeah.
2 is below it, probably. 4 and 6 are below it.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably 9 now. Definitely 9 now, actually, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you.
So Farm Boy says there's 12 Star Wars stories, not 11. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, seriously, why are you?
Wait.
Mando. He's probably throwing Mando in there.
How high am I right now? The answer is 0, but why can I not think of the 12th one?
Mando.
There's 9 episodes, and then there's Rogue One, and then there's Solo. Mando's a series, though.
Yeah, but he said stories.
Boo. There's only 2 Star Wars stories.
There's only one story.
It's Rogue One and it's Solo. Technically.
Clone Wars.
Oh, yeah, the Clone Wars movie. Yeah. I probably should include that, but I don't.
I don't either. Cartoon.
That's the lingering on our list of commentary to do. I haven't seen that, I think, since it came out. Now it's 2006 or 7. What's wrong? Did you spill stuff on yourself?
Hey, I'll tell you. No, I had a little spot
of
poop.
What?
It was poop on my shoulder.
Cats walking on your head again?
I don't even want to get into it. We're going to get shit on over the next 10 years. A bunch.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
It's going to be shit everywhere.
Literally. I don't know if I'm excited for that part. Yeah, I love Solo. And end of discussion there. I love it.
Yeah. I love it. That's great.
I'm going to say 5, 8, 1, and Solo are in like my top 4. Star Wars movies,
higher than
for
7?
Sure.
Yeah,
7 has slipped down just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
So what's your 5?
I'd probably put that right under Solo, yeah.
It is crazy that 5 still holds up like that. Yeah.
It does.
It is a weird movie. It's
It
a
is weird,
fucked
man.
movie. You start really looking at it, and
Yeah.
it's really not that great. And I mean that in the best way. Like it's like there's so many weird aspects to 5 that I feel like don't hold up, and then when you watch it, you're like, oh, this I'm just glued. Like
Yeah.
I can't wait. But it's
Man.
like, dude, you fly into a worm and hang out in the stomach for a half hour.
Luke's on a swamp for an hour.
Luke's in a swamp talking to a frog.
Yeah.
And then you're up in a Cloud City, and that's the movie.
It's a pretty savage frog, though. He's dropping knowledge.
Yeah, it's just it's a clunky movie. I'd love to hear someone's thoughts that doesn't like 5. I'm sure they exist.
What are your feelings on 5? Tell us.
I'm sure. Well, yeah, let's be shitters today. What would you talk shit about 5? Like, what don't you like about 5?
I mean, I guess Luke meeting a Jedi Master and training is probably the most important part of the movie.
Mhm.
But if you take that out, nothing really happens. It's like it's just Han and Leia are just kind of barely escaping the Empire over and over again for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You know, there's a big train coming by. I'm sorry, it's going to be a little bit loud.
Yeah, it doesn't really. You're right. I mean, obviously the movie's 100% focused on Luke.
Not 100% at all.
Luke's getting trained.
How dare you? How dare you
Luke
say that?
confronts it. Luke finds out that he's Vader's son.
That's not that big of a deal.
That doesn't.
Yeah.
That doesn't.
Yeah. I know. What you said before we started talking about that was very interesting. You said it's easy to dissect it looking back, but then you watch it and you're just like, well, fuck, it's great. What am I talking about? I think that's true. I think people need
to know why?
stop dissecting things more and start watching things more.
You want to know why though?
No.
What's the glue
Just
to
let
episode
me-
5?
Just let me. Yeah, go ahead.
The glue to episode 5 is the characters and the acting.
It's always characters and story. Always.
It is,
Anyone making anything, it's always characters and story.
which is why we love Mass Effect. For a video game, I would watch the shit out of a Mass Effect movie because the characters and the story.
They would fuck it up though.
Yes, they would, because they would take the characters and the story out of it. They'd be like, "Oh, space! We can put lasers in this one."
Yep.
Woo!"
It's all
Like-
action and tits.
Which half of that's fine.
Yeah, that's fun. Not flourish. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, whatever. That's a accents movie. Those are just attachments to the movie,
Yeah,
to the story. I mean,
yeah. No, and that's it. Because Han Solo is a 100% believable character, and he's hitting on Leia the whole time, which makes sense. She's the smoke show of the movie. But he's the scoundrel, so he's not supposed to, it's that Romeo and Juliet. You're not supposed to be together, but they want to be together. So you see that tension, and then you see Luke, he's not good enough to be a Jedi, but it's what we got, and Yoda's got to make it work. And oh, by the way, your dad is the bad guy, and it's there's so much character development in that movie outside of Lando.
that's true. That's accurate.
But it is, and then we get a little splash of Boba Fett, which, say what you want and how little he does, it's still it's like, oh, fuck, bounty hunters. They exist in Star Wars. This is fucking cool.
Yeah.
And his ship, it lands on its side. This is fun.
Oh man, it's so awesome. Han Solo can stick to the back of a Star Destroyer.
Lone Star. I will say,
Yeah, man.
one aspect of Star Wars I wish was better. I don't like Jabba. Is that okay to say? I feel like
You can say whatever you want.
he gets the pass nowadays, and you're like, dude, did they get lazy in creating Jabba?
No, it's probably one of the most complex
Exactly.
puppets they ever made.
So why did they come up with that? You're like,
Because, fuck, man.
I
It's probably a
understand-
visual representation of what a mob boss becomes over time.
Sure, it's the big fat slob. He no longer has to do anything. He has everybody else do it.
Right.
He can be that. But
Yeah.
I'm like,
And he
come
gradually
on.
gets stuck to his chair.
I've never seen him move. Not in 30 years.
Doesn't. Just his tongue.
Ah.
When he gets mad, he just grunts and roars and dips his head back.
Yeah. What's your favorite beast in Star Wars? I know there's a lot of tentacles and stuff, but like, I guess I'm focused on the original trilogy. We had a Savage from Australia message us, and he was a OT fan. So,
Oh, nice.
I wanna dig in and tell him why the OT sucks. So, no, that is one aspect that I feel like they kind of swung and missed in the sequel trilogy was the beasts, the animals, the rancors. I still to this day I see a rancor and I hear it and I'm like, fuck.
Snort. That's all I remember from
or that
KOTOR.
like shudder it does. I can't even do it. Like,
Neither can I.
oh
Yeah, I mean, I despise the Rathtars. That's like the only bad scene in Force Awakens, in my opinion. So, you just said that the sequels were a swing and a miss on creatures. Yeah, like I hate the Rathtars so much. I think they're the most annoying thing ever.
What other beasts are there? What are we missing?
Well, I guess I wouldn't consider them beasts, but you have the horse things from 8. You have like the
that's
crystal
fine.
foxes from 8. The
Actually,
porgs.
I like the crystal fox. Yeah,
I like the
are
porgs.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it was more like the wampas, the
Yeah, there's not a lot of
Rathtars.
like evil creatures
That's a-
out trying to kill you.
That's what they tried to do with the Rathtars, and I was like,
Yeah, not interested.
not. I agree.
Like you could have just had the bounty hunters chasing Han Solo. You didn't need the Rathtars to make it even more tense. It was already tense. They were trying to kill him.
Yeah, I wonder what that scene obviously could have went. You had a lot of tension set up.
Right.
And
Han
then you
Solo was
just
stuck in the middle of the hallway between
Yeah.
2 different crime syndicates.
And anything you could have wrote anything, and you came up with, oh yeah, rolling tentacle beasts. You're like, what?
I wanted to see Contra Club in action. And they just get eaten.
Honestly, I thought it was gonna be a cool, like, very tense battle, like what they tried to do in Episode 4 in the hallways, which it doesn't live up to what it used to.
Yeah.
But back in the day, those fucking tense scenes in the hallways of the Death Star, you're like, oh, I thought they were gonna go that route and some shit was gonna go down, and then they're like, nope, button Rathtars.
At Contra Club.
I will say, it was a cool visual to see a Rathtar torn apart as they went lightspeed.
That was cool.
out of the hangar. That was a
Yeah,
cool
how
visual.
He slips off of the cockpit window. Yeah. Yeah. That's so weird. So weird.
Yeah, the beasts were always fun. Do you hate Star Wars?
Sometimes I do. That's the sign of a healthy relationship, though. Sometimes you hate it. Is that how it works? Don't tell my wife I said that.
I hate you sometimes. That's why this works. What?
No, not hate. That's too strong of a word. Sometimes you're fucking sick of it. You're sick of its bullshit.
Sick of
Sometimes, JJ, I'm sick of your bullshit. And then sometimes I really thank you for doing all the bullshit.
It's really.
I
don't-
encapsulated it right there. I could write a book about that.
About hate.
Yes.
So this
Let it flow through me.
this book's called Anakin Skywalker.
This book's called Sand.
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 With
What
3
Star
A's.
Wars taught me about sand.
Sand.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna ask for something out of Disney and out of Star Wars.
It's
Okay.
not gonna happen, bro. But I want to hear
Oh.
it. I might be able to deliver for you.
Can I get a?
Oh.
Can
Probably
I get
not.
a well-written movie?
I almost spit out my entire drink right there. That was close.
The reason I seriously am asking that. You see movies, it could name any fucking movie. There's like that's come out. It's like you look at, like, I don't know, 1917, and you just look at what they did from a cinematography standpoint, and like a flow and a character, and you get real personal with these. It's like, why is it too much to ask for that in Star Wars? Does it have to be goofy? Does it have to have jokes? Like, there can be fun scenes, but it's like they write jokes into the movie. Like, I guess that's why it was a big swing and a miss for episode 8 for me, because the comedy was just, I did not like the comedy in episode 8. Surprisingly, they did a lot better in 9. That was actually one of the highlights in 9. But I guess my question or my ask is, I just want a full, well-rounded movie in the Star Wars universe. I don't want a Star Wars movie. You know what I'm saying? There is a difference.
I don't know what you're saying.
Give me a solid movie. It doesn't need to be goofy. It doesn't need to be Alpha 5 I.
Well, I think that's part of Star Wars, though.
That's the issue.
It's not an issue, though.
I don't want a Star Wars movie. I want a good movie in the Star Wars universe.
I can't think. This is going to sound extreme, but I can't think of a movie outside of like even horror movie. I can't think of a movie that doesn't have a comedic beat in it at least once.
The Shining?
I guarantee it does at the beginning when he's doing the interview or when he's talking to his wife or something.
No.
Guarantee it. There's
They
plenty of them in the book.
The characters laugh, but it's
saying,
not like a funny scene.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's no slapstick, but
And
I'm saying like that
I'm
is.
not saying
I feel like that's an integral part of Star Wars.
I'm not. Well, that's the issue.
But even KOTOR, which we praised and loved, has a bunch of goofy shit in it. I think that's just part of the formula.
Yeah,
part of the ingredients.
Well, that's and even Travis says, I was hoping The Last Jedi would be like that, and it's pretty close. But I think because it is a very serious movie, and that's what they do. You do get out of it, and it does feel tense. But I think the comedy in that. But I hate the saying because it's Star Wars. They did that because it's Star Wars. Well, you don't have to make a movie somewhat shitty to make it a Star Wars movie. You don't have to make it, I don't know, goofy. Like you can make that's what I've always asked for. I just want a fucking crazy movie in the Star Wars universe. I'm pissed.
I don't even know what you mean by crazy.
It's the opposite of crazy. I want a normal movie in the Star Wars universe.
That's
I feel
what I mean.
like
even normal movies outside of the Star Wars universe still have comedy beats in them.
I'm not. You're stuck on a comedy. Just give me a fucking movie that's well written. I don't know.
I'm glad I'm not teaching a cinematography class because I don't know what we're shooting at right now.
Yeah.
You're saying like they try to create a Star Wars formula that sometimes they feel like they have to force it into the film instead of just focusing on the film.
Yes, it's like they're building a movie and they're like, well, to make this a Star Wars movie, we have to insert 3 really goofy things. Let's put an alien with eyeballs in its asshole. Let's like they just throw it because it's Star Wars, and it's like, well, no, erase the whole because it's Star Wars. Just make a fucking movie in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, but some people might argue that because it's Star Wars pieces are why it fits in the universe and why it's Star Wars and why
that's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. It could be the biggest flop, but I want a serious movie in the Star Wars universe.
Disney,
everything's so goofy.
Like for you to lose money on a project so that I can be pleased.
Exactly.
Hear that, Bobby? Who's in charge now? Not Bob.
Hey, that's the risk that you take.
That's true.
You try to make an actual movie instead of making a Star Wars movie.
I'm fine with them taking more risks. I totally agree with you on that one.
Yeah, I thought they did take some risks, some serious risks in Episode 9. I think, from a certain point of view, they landed great. It's just a very clunky movie altogether. But the fact that they put a Sith planet in there, I was like, whoa, I did not expect it at all.
9 to me feels like the last season of Game of Thrones in a lot of ways. It's like I'm not mad at what they decided to do, but they didn't earn any of those threads, you know?
Yeah.
Like Palpatine's back. I think that's great. He's been the main villain the whole time, but
yeah,
you spent 2 movies and we're 30 years past the point and no one's brought him up. So that's out of left field. Rey being a Palpatine, I guess maybe I can dig it, but you just spent 2 movies saying that she's nobody. So I'm not really buying that.
No, you're right. And just from the Game of Thrones standpoint, they created that structure. Everything's earned. Everything it's a long
true to the structure, yeah.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. They built the structure. It's a long fucking show. And every character that's made it to the end has earned the right to be in the end.
Right.
Well, and then they're just like, well, yeah. I mean, from a certain point of view. But then they rush the end and you're like, what?
Yeah.
You just spent all this time basically building the importance of the struggle and the depth of these characters, and then you're like, oh yeah, Bran, he wants to be king, he doesn't want to be king, but he's king, so king. And you're like, what happened?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a huge problem. That's I guess I can kind of segue into the Wonder Woman thing here because that's how I feel about that whole movie. Is like, well, here, Tommy Boy's got a comment for us before we move on.
Okay.
They spent episode 7 trying to make it about the new characters. Then episode 8 did well at handing them off, and then episode 9 out of nowhere had to try and tie up all 9 films. Yeah, I think I do remember hearing a lot of stuff from JJ like before 9 came out. And that was like a big focus, was trying to tie up threads from everything. And I feel like, I guess he feels like he had to do that, but he didn't really have to do that. I feel like trying to tie up the whole saga did a disservice to tying up just that trilogy.
How would have you? I'm just, what ifs? You could go down that fucking rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Loss of opportunity. Like, do you feel like they had to do 7, 8, and 9?
I, for the type of Star Wars that I like, don't feel like they did. But I'm sure as a business and as a film house, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. As a film studio, knowing the franchise and knowing the fans, I feel like they felt they had to do that.
I felt like the pressure was there. First of all, I'm going to answer my own question. No, I don't think they had to do 7, 8, and 9. I think it lined up too well. It was basically half written. It was put in front of them. The OT characters were old enough to be in it and play themselves, and you're like, and it gives you an opportunity to start a brand new, start all over again with 4 brand new characters, Poe, Rey, and the rest of them.
Yeah.
And still tie it into the OT. Like, I think it made sense.
Yeah.
But I don't think for my own fandom, absolutely not. You didn't have to do 7, 8, and 9.
I agree. Yeah. Same for me.
Especially the way they did. I like the films, but I do think they could have went more closely to the book, the Legends books, because the Jason stuff, while that was probably the only thing that worked, is the Jason, Ben Solo, Kylo Ren connection.
Yeah.
The rest of it was kind of random, and new.
Well, I really like the new characters and everything. I just kind of felt like they got a little bit shafted in order for Lucasfilm to kind of tie off all of the original characters. Like, they kind of took some of the spotlight away from.
They put themselves in a corner, like we just said. It made sense to put OT characters in there. The timing was perfect. But if you do that, obviously you're going to have that pressure of to kill them off, or I know they created these movies to be about Rey and Kylo, but as soon as you put Han, Leia, and Luke in there, it's no longer about the fuckers. Like you.
Well, kind of. I think 7 did hit a pretty good balance with Han Solo being definitely supporting cast and not like stealing the show.
And I think that's why 7 lands a lot better I think everybody. I think everybody liked 7 a lot better than 8 and 9.
See, and I'm talking myself out of it because I love 8, and that's my favorite Luke ever, is 8.
See, I do understand the gripe with Luke.
No.
I like what they did with Luke, and I
Yes.
think he's a cooler character because of what they did. But
Yes.
again, I don't know.
Yes.
It's you put yourself in a corner. Like, as soon as you put Luke out there,
I agree.
he's a groveling, non-force sensitive from a certain point of view in 8,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Yeah.
well, that's, I wanted to see Luke, but not like that. What the fuck are you doing? And I get it.
Well, Mark Hamill's is 60, so you're going to have to read a comic book for that.
Well, that's the issue.
That's the answer. I mean, it's hard to deny because on one hand, Star Wars has a 10-year gap, and then they come back with the highest grossing film of all time at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a big piece of that is because it's tied slightly
big piece.
into the original trilogy. Han Solo's in the fucking film. You want to come and see Han and Chewie on the Falcon again? Han and Chewie are here. They're on the Falcon again. You want to see that?
Yeah.
And then they continue to make decent films, but then they have the whole chaos within the fandom. And should they have done this? Should they have done that? Whatever.
Again,
The
don't listen to us,
alternative is starting with something out of left field that's totally brand new. And maybe the first movie only makes, 500 million, instead of over $1 billion. And then they build themselves up to a higher grossing, more popular movie over time by doing exactly what they want to do instead of trying to cater to their history or cater to the fan base or whatever they think they have to do. And that could have been a good move. I don't know. I just feel like if they're kind of rebooting the biggest franchise in history, they kind of felt like they had to go hard, I guess.
I guess also, like, I feel like there's a template that people use when creating a Star Wars film. My suggestion is to blow the fucking template up and make a fucking film. Why? I know the criticism up front that you're gonna get, but why does it always have to be trilogy? Why does it have to be 3 movies? You can do whatever you want, Disney. Whatever. And even going forward, you're slotting people to do trilogies, and it's like, dude, I get it. I really do. But there are opportunities to do fun stuff, like 2 movies, 1 movie. You could, or let's do a fucking crazy movie. Let it sit alone, just like the original Star Wars. Episode 4 was supposed to be Star Wars, and that's it.
Kinda.
Slotted movie. They didn't know they were going to be making more.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, I don't always want it to fit within a template, and I feel maybe that's what's limiting it in my own head. I feel like all the movies that they've made fit a Star Wars template directed towards children. That's the biggest thing. It is for children. We're Star Wars fans. That's what we have to live with. I still am asking for an adult Star Wars film. Let's get heavy. Let's get violent. Having.
Now we're back to the 2016 discussions of they should make an R-rated Star Wars.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I don't know.
It's a risk. I'm not saying it's not, because you're asking 80% of your fan base to not watch this movie. It's
for
like
another few years.
Yeah, I get it. I really do. It's a huge risk, but you could potentially make one of the greatest movies of all time and really push Star Wars into a new realm. And you can do both. You can go back and forth. Yeah, you can do the trilogies and do the Star Wars template stuff and create fun stuff. But let's start diving into crazy shit.
Well, I think of something like Lord of the Rings as not made for kids, but something that kids can still enjoy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know The Hobbit is definitely supposed to be a younger audience book. But Lord of the Rings is so detailed and complex, and there's so many characters and I almost said planets. So many characters and like realms. It can be a lot. So it's not necessarily for kids, but kids obviously watch Lord of the Rings and enjoy the shit out of it. So I think Star Wars can probably go in that direction.
Yeah, and there's opportunity
without having to be rated R, you know?
No, I agree. There is a depth that I don't think they put into the sequel trilogy that really pulls in adults. Like you almost have to put on like Star Wars glasses, or like you know what I'm talking about? Like you have to like understand this is for kids.
Yeah.
Going into the movie. That's my issue. I don't feel
that way.
Just make a hell of a movie.
I agree with you, but I don't feel that from the past few films. But that's just me.
Look, I like Star Wars. I love to shit on it just as well. So, yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's why I liked Game of Thrones. That was not for kids.
Nope.
But
it was true to the books. The books weren't for kids. I mean, that's how Stephen King stuff is too.
That's what I'd love to see in the Star Wars universe. Let's fuck.
That's why people were pissed about the Dark Tower movie too.
I watched that. I was okay with it. I expected terrible stuff.
Listen.
And I was like, I don't know what you expected. It's one of the most obscure franchises. Like,
well, I will say, having been in some subreddits, I think Dark Tower fans hate the Dark Tower movie more than any Star Wars fan has ever hated any Star Wars movie.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. The problem is, like, if you made a true to book adaptation of the Dark Tower, it would probably be fucking 12 movies that are 3 hours each. It's insanely long.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
That was a risk to do that.
So they made one movie which incorporated a few big components, and I feel like it's pretty good. You know, it's not the book, But the whole thing about the book is that there's a bunch of different realities and a bunch of different planes of existence. So like this is just one version of the tower.
Yeah.
In a different universe, Roland does a whole different thing, and that's totally cool. So from that perspective, I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
They should have made it an extra 30 minutes longer, but it was fine.
Yeah, Isaac said the video games aren't made for kids. That's actually a valid.
The video
Point.
games, like Star Wars video games, or video games in general.
I would assume Star Wars video games. Yeah,
That's a weird one to think about because, like,
they are. Video games are for kids, but
I don't know.
or the kids are now 30, 35 years old. I'm a kid.
I mean, if it's not rated M, then it kind of is made for kids, right?
Well, I guess you look at what they did with Mass Effect, and Mass Effect I would say is not made for kids. And that's what I want out of Star Wars. I want Mass Effect depth and relationships.
Butt cheeks. You
and
just want
ass.
butt cheeks. You just want butt cheeks.
Really, if you could just put
Miranda in Star Wars.
and give me those heavy options from a certain point of view.
Yes. All about that view.
That's funny. Yeah. Just a lack of, adult content. And that doesn't mean tits. I'm saying, the heavy shit that Star Wars kind of skates over because it's for kids. So, but sprinkle that in there, like you said, with the Lord of the Rings. Like give us those options that if we really pay attention, you start stringing stuff along, or the Game of Thrones. Like it's all in front of us. It's all options.
We might be dissecting it a little too much. Again, like you said, you can sit there and dissect it, but then you go back and watch it, and you're like, "Why am I talking? This is great." I have a feeling that's might be what's happening right now. I could be wrong.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not. I usually am not wrong.
I've
And
never.
I know you were a big fan of 3PO and Poe in 9. That's a good thing, but that's also like super fucking annoying.
Shittiest thing to say about an entire movie
No, I'm just saying
is that C3PO was great. That's why. Oh, the saving grace.
No,
of
I'm saying
C3PO made me laugh twice.
No, you opened your anti-formula argument by talking about the comedy beats, and I feel like you also do love C3PO in 9, which I thought was fucking annoying.
Yeah, I laugh a lot more at C3PO in 9. I thought they did. I thought they wrote him well because you expect just to be annoyed by him, and you're like, this dude's
So
actually...
they hit the formula properly.
Yeah, they fucked the rest of the movie up, but I laughed twice. So
It's a great movie.
that's an issue. It's an issue, and again, it's vocal jokes. It's written script jokes, not like funny nuances or facial expressions or situations that they create around cool characters. Because I feel like that's what you got out of Han. You'd laugh at Han for how much he hates C-3PO.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fucking keep us alive, and you're over here like odds and shit. You're like, oh, this is funny because he hates the fucking droid that's trying to help him.
And so do I.
Not like
I
the
relate to that character.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm like, shut it off. I can't hear you because I turned the movie off.
I agree with that beat. And then also when BB-8 steals the ATST in Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Those two comedy, I hate them very much. Despise them.
Yeah.
Very bad.
Yeah,
The rest of it
I
I'm
hope
fine with.
I hope you guys don't feel like I'm being too, because I'll sit here and watch the movies. I love them.
No, it's all good.
But,
we
yeah.
got to talk about something.
Yeah, I want to be critical and set my expectations because, I like the stuff that's come out, but my expectations
you.
they're high expectations for Star Wars, guys. And
I have high
someone
expectations
asked,
for everything.
CJH asks, so you want KOTOR? Yes. Thank you.
But here's my problem with your argument is that KOTOR hits the formula so well that we love it.
KOTOR does not make me laugh once, other than if my character loads in without a head.
No, every single dialogue line from HK-47 makes you laugh.
Yeah, it's true.
Anytime your character talks to a
But he's
Twi'lek
not
slave in the
telling
cantinas.
jokes.
Sometimes he is. Meatbag.
That's not a joke.
Yeah,
I don't
kind
know.
of. Yes, it is.
The "Can you hear me now?" is there's no purpose to it other than being a joke. The meatbags is talking shit. There is I see it
talking
differently.
shit in PG.
Yeah, well, that's the issue.
He's trying to kill time until his supercharger's ready.
Yeah, super ultra charger.
I want to say understand what you're coming from. Where you're coming
No
from.
one needs to understand what the fuck I'm trying.
That's okay.
I just want to cuss a lot on this episode.
Fuck everything.
Let me mark off 30
I hate,
fucks.
I hate pop culture. I hate it.
Yeah.
Real farm boys speaking Jedi codes over here.
Yep. Expectations lead to disappointment, leads to hate, leads to suffering. Absolutely.
I agree.
No, I agree as well. But you gotta have expectations. Could you imagine them coming out with your worst nightmare of a movie? I'm not
What?
joking, because you
Clowns?
have expectation. Yeah, it'd just be clowns in spacesuits laughing, and you're like, "This, what am I watching?"
I can get through it without being too creeped out, though.
Yeah,
Except for chapter 2, I don't remember much of.
yeah.
I don't remember any of that, really.
I remember one slice of the first It, and it was when the chunky kid was in the basement of the library, and that thing starts chasing him. That's when it hit me. I was like, "Whoa, this is fucking weird and creepy." Because that thing, however it's crawling, I don't want it.
There's a lot of good stuff in there
Yeah.
in the first one, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you said you saw Birds of Prey or no?
No, I bought it. I haven't spent the time to watch it yet.
I want to watch that, and I want to watch Shazam so that I feel better about DC, because Wonder Woman 84 was not that great.
How, you haven't seen Shazam yet?
No.
Oh fuck! You'll be pleasantly surprised. I hope you are. It's fun. We've rewatched it purposely,
Nice. That's good.
and I mean that in a way that like we watched it, loved it, and then one day we're like, what do we want to watch? And we were like, oh, let's watch Shazam again. That's fun.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's probably, I'll ask Fucko his opinions, but
I have no
I
opinions.
might have hated Wonder Woman. I shouldn't say hate. It was just fine. But you can't help but compare it to other things. Like, you're watching a superhero movie. I'm always thinking of Joker and Batman vs Superman and all the Marvel movies, Infinity War, all that stuff. Like, it's in your head. It doesn't go away. So I can't help but compare it a little bit. So I thought it was fine. Good performances, but I just could not get behind the plot at all.
Yeah.
Okay, you
It's,
ready for this?
Oh.
So there's an ancient wishing stone that if you wish for something, it grants your wish, but then it takes something in return. That's the whole plot of the movie.
Was this written somewhere?
It must have been
in
in
DC.
It must have been like a 1930s comic book. That's how like
Jesus.
convoluted and weird
Yeah.
it sounds. But you wish for something and then you get it, but it takes something in return. So Wonder Woman wishes for her boy to come back. So he does. But she starts getting a little weaker in her powers in return because the stone takes something in return. But then Pedro Pascal, who's the main villain, he wishes to become the stone. So then the stone disintegrates and he becomes the stone, and then he starts granting wishes to people. So he talks people into, like, he wants something and he talks somebody into saying, I wish this. They say it. He gets whatever the fuck he wants. And it just goes on and on and on until he's like trying to get the whole world to wish for things.
Remember, be yourself. This is Aladdin.
Yeah. It sounds crazy.
It sounds
felt
dumb.
crazy. It was just a ridiculous plot. That said, Pedro Pascal's performance was fantastic.
As a stone?
Yes, as the stone.
He
Pedro
was a great
Pascal
stone.
as the stone.
He was a great stone.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, performance was good, and I obviously Gal Gadot's performance and everything, even Kristen Wiig, it was good. It was just the plot was just strange. The wishing
That
stone,
story
I thought
is
that
dumb.
was so dumb, and they didn't develop the characters enough for me to say like Kristen Wiig character could have easily been Selena Kyle in Batman Returns. Like she turned into like evil, vindictive character by the end, villain. She should have followed that kind of arc, but it doesn't really go that far for you to believe that she now all of a sudden hates everyone and just wants to kill people mindlessly because she's a dork and she's been getting picked on since she was a little girl. They didn't earn that character change.
Mhm.
And same with Pedro, even though his performance was great. It had me kind of locked in, but yeah, it was silly, man. It was really silly.
That's just to stay on the superhero. That's what I actually liked about Spider-Man: Homecoming. For how weird, like the flying falcon enemy was, I thought
Vulture?
it fit Vulture. Thank you. I was trying. I didn't want to call him Green Goblin because I knew it wasn't Green Goblin. I thought Vulture fit. He was just trying to make a way and like do good for his family, but he was committing crimes. And you're like, well, I'm Spider-Man, so I got to stop you. But it was like not that deep of a villain, which doesn't always need to be. It's not always necessary to be super deep.
Yeah.
Just, I commit crimes to feed my family and, provide. It's like, I get that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, and that's what they completely missed in Suicide Squad. It's like, oh, okay, ancient beast sister. And then Onyx comes out, and then there's a bunch of shit. You're like, what the fuck is happening anymore?
Yeah, they lost me on that one.
Yeah, it's like you set
Again,
everything
it's
up.
characters and story.
Everything was set up so well because I do like the characters. I actually the Deadshot and Kangaroo Man, I love them.
Captain Kangaroo.
It's like, oh, okay, we got this group of gnarly people. This is fun, and then it's just like, oh yeah, but the witch has a brother. Oh
Right.
no, we're all fucked, brother man. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Are you the least excited for WandaVision?
I am neutrally hyped for WandaVision.
Okay, I'm about there too.
I'm very intrigued. I don't know what the hell it's going to be about and what's going to happen.
Idea. Which is good. It's a nice feeling, but I have no idea. I have no idea.
Well, the retro part of it is giving me Fallout vibes for sure.
I'm getting Pleasantville.
Pleasant. Yeah, for sure.
We'll get stuck into TV. We're superheroes.
Exactly.
Let's play this out.
Since Black Widow got delayed, this is kind of like the first new Marvel thing.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be Black Widow. I guess kind of Spider-Man: Far From Home kind of is the first of the next round. But
that was. How did you feel about Far From Home?
I liked it. I always thought Mysterio from the cartoon was just silly. I shouldn't have, because there was a fucking Rhino Man. He's also very silly. I should have been laughing at him too. I never really got Mysterio, but I thought they did his origin very well in Far From Home. And I thought his performance was great. Jake
Gyllenhaal, I just wasn't a believable villain to me. Yeah.
What?
I think
if they wanted
that character.
Yeah.
But,
if they wanted to sell it, he would have had a very short scene in a previous movie where Tony Stark was like being a dick to him.
Yeah.
They really wanted to sell it, but I thought it was good.
Yeah, and Travis mentioned, do you think we're at like an oversaturation of superhero films? Absolutely. That doesn't mean they can't still make great superhero films, but absolutely. That's why it was almost refreshing to get something like, you guys know what I'm going to go back to, The Joker. Because it was more than a superhero film.
Yeah.
It was just a dark film, like about a beaten down dude, and it just ended up being a Joker or the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I liked it, because it wasn't all bang ding pow, punch in the head, I can fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just no, I absolutely think we're in an oversaturated superhero film, and that's the issue I have with like the planogram that they have for the rest of the films.
Yeah,
we're getting into like exterior superheroes, which can be fun as long as you do it right. But we're getting into these like WandaVision stuff, and I'm like, I have no idea.
That's what I'm most excited for, because I remember going in and seeing Guardians of the Galaxy and being like, "What the fuck? This is Marvel? We're in space." I remember being so blown away because I knew nothing about any of those characters or the storyline. I didn't know that Marvel superheroes even went into space at all. I was that new to just knowing the superheroes' origins. So
yeah,
I thought Guardians was amazing. So when we get into things like WandaVision and Shang-Chi and the Legend of the 30 Rings, or whatever the fuck it's called, like, I know nothing about those characters, so that's what I'm most excited for. And the next Doctor Strange, the multiverse shit, the horror, all that, yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's fun because we don't know where they're going, because I don't know anything about any of this, so
right.
it's kind of just open territory for me, which limits the hype on my end. I'm not hyped to see WandaVision. While it could be great, I don't know what to expect. The hype isn't there as far as like if you put Batman's name on anything, I'm seeing it. I'm probably gonna like it better than it actually is, and I'm gonna rewatch it and I'm gonna buy it. And it's like I have already like set up in my mind expectations. What could they do? Where could they push it? WandaVision, it's blank slate. I have no idea. But
Yeah.
And I feel bad saying that
agree
because
with that.
I have neutral hype for the foreseeable future of Marvel. I have no idea what to expect out of any of the films that they had slotted. So
Also, Vision's dead.
oh yeah, because they pulled the thing out.
Yeah, he killed him before he snapped, so he's dead.
So this is just in the TV universe.
I have no idea. But in the trailer, it spans different time periods. Like we see them in the retro 50s, but we also see 70s. We also see like 90s, and then we see modern day. And then it also had things where like their vision was getting interrupted, or like the connection was getting interrupted. So I don't know what's gonna happen, if they're gonna like be time traveling or opening multiverse doors or whatever the fuck. Maybe Vision will come back from the multiverse. I don't know.
Yeah,
They do that in Dark Tower a lot, so I'm used to it.
Well, you got to think they have the gauntlet. They could bring anybody back, right?
Well, he didn't die from the gauntlet though.
So you have time. You have the control of time. I guess that would bring the war back. Yeah, I don't know how all that works.
I feel like they talked their way into it at some point during Endgame. I don't remember. As far as the oversaturation thing goes, on first glance, I do want to say yes. But I also kind of feel like now that they can make superhero movies on a regular basis, I feel like superhero movies are just becoming their own, its own genre now.
Yeah, it absolutely, and that's why I do
so
think
they can
it
make
is
multiple ones per
oversaturated.
year.
Only
Because it's new though. Only because we were used to getting one Batman movie every 3 years.
Yeah, it's a hell of a market. It's a nice issue to have. So there's so many films flying at us, and that's not even to mention a series and a shitty series that I haven't even watched, like The Defenders. I'm sure there's good content there.
Yeah,
I've only watched the one. I forget the character's name.
Daredevil.
I haven't even finished Daredevil. It was part of The Defenders. There was the woman.
Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Punisher. Punisher wasn't in The Defenders, but
Yeah, so I watched Luke Cage. It was fun. Little
yeah, there was some cheese there.
Yeah, it was fine.
Iron Fist was really cheesy, but I remember really, really, really liking that character. So I watched it anyways.
Who?
Punisher was fucking awesome. Punisher was great.
It's weird. I couldn't get into Punisher, and I want to like that character. It's one of those characters that I want to like, and I watch it. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just not vested. I don't know. Maybe it's just the timing. Yeah, I'll have to try over. I was just wondering because someone mentioned Green Lantern, and I'm like, God, that's a fucking perfect DC thing to go down rabbit hole. Let's start making movies because that storyline's really cool.
He's supposed to have a bigger. I think it's still a cameo, but he's supposed to have a bigger cameo in the Snyder Cut of Justice League.
There's supposed to be the Green Lantern Corps film.
I don't know what DC's doing. I stopped trying to figure it out.
That's true. I should probably just shut up. But I guess my point was I would be excited to dive down that rabbit hole that is Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Again, because I don't know much about it, but I don't know. I'm interested.
Yeah.
I like the powers and the how. I mean, honestly, I never knew there was multiple Green Lantern. And then when I was talking to Travis, he was kind of telling me a little bit more about it. And there's like blue and green and a bunch of them, and they're all different things. I'm like, dude, that sounds fucking cool. I'm like into that. But yeah, slotted, but obviously not released yet. So who fucking knows?
Not me.
I have no clue. I don't know.
Do you? I don't know.
So Travis said Green Lantern is such a massive universe, but like they need to do it correctly, not like they did back in 2008, which they have the opportunity now. I mean, like we said, we have an oversaturation of this stuff, and Green Lantern could be a core universe to build upon. Yeah. No, I'm hyped for that. Put Green Lantern in fucking episode 10. I don't give a shit. Star Wars.
Problem is, if they make a movie a superhero movie is very expensive, so they probably need to. I think they're trying to pick the bigger characters so they know they're going to have a draw, so they can at least make their money back. Because if you drop 150 million in a movie, you can't make a movie about Captain Kangaroo by himself. No one's going to come see it.
Let's name characters / superheroes that they can do entire movies or multiples of movies every like decade, and we would still go see it. So, for example, Batman. Batman could come out every decade, and I'm gonna see it because it's gonna be a brand new version of a dark character that I love.
You mean every year?
Not every year. I'm just saying every like 10 years they're gonna revamp this character.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
and they kind of did that with Spider-Man. Spider-Man's been done 3 times now, and I'm still loving it. Like,
and now they're all about to fucking converge. It's gonna be insane.
Yeah, there's good opportunity, but I guess that was kind of and X-Men. How many X-Men movies are there? I don't even like the newer ones, and it's fine. It's fun.
Yeah.
I feel like they have that potential to do that with Green Lantern. Just keep doing Green Lantern films because you can change it, and it's the same Green Lantern character, but a different dude.
Right. DC has a lot of potential. I'm eager to see what they come up with.
Joker. Just fucking keep doing Joker movies.
Joker was good. Batman trailer looks good. I'm a fan of Snyder's stuff, even though that's obviously a hot topic. It's kind of a love or hate. I'm on the love side of that.
The lover.
I'm a lover. I'm a Snyder lover. I'm looking forward to the cut of Justice League, but they also have. The problem is I feel like the weak DC movies are weaker than the weak Marvel movies. You know, you go see Ant-Man, it's like. It's not quite as thrilling as like Iron Man. I'm not as deeply connected to him as I am with Captain America or something, but it was still fun. Nothing cringy. You know, I had a good time. Wonder Woman 84, I'm like, man, wishing stone.
Aquaman.
A wishing stone? A fucking wishing stone?
Yeah, that's a bad
like you're
decision.
throwing fucking Dat Terry's into a wishing well. That's the plot of the movie.
That's
so,
a bad,
I don't know.
bad decision.
That just landed flat. And Aquaman, yeah, I agree with you there. Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad, I think, if I had to rank bad DC movies that came out recently, I'd probably actually put Suicide Squad above Aquaman.
Ooh.
And from the sounds of it, look, Aquaman wasn't great, but there were aspects of Aquaman that I did like.
Right. The only aspect of Suicide Squad I liked was the character intros. Which they dropped.
I didn't hate the adventure, the walk through the town.
Yeah.
I didn't hate the relationships between the bad guys, the shit talking. I didn't even hate the crazy cop lady that put this all together that they put in there. It was just the villain, the main villain. I was like, ooh, what the fuck? But the sister was cool.
Yeah, she started kind of cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that movie more than Aquaman, even though I think Aquaman should have been better.
Well, I haven't seen it in a while, so I maybe don't want to talk too much because it's been a minute since.
You saying Suicide Squad or Aquaman?
Suicide Squad, both really. But I was gonna say like all the bad guys that they brought together for this little squad felt like they were just like vigilantes and criminals in jail. And then you throw in the witch, and it's like now you have this whole supernatural element, which I felt like kind of took me out of the vibe of these are just like a really talented sharpshooter, and then the boomerang fucker, and then Harley Quinn with their hammer.
How do you think I feel about Black Widow messing around with Hulk and Thor? She's a fucking assassin, and there's gods running around. You're like, how is she still alive?
I know, but she's got the whole team with her.
Yeah, no, I get it. They have to protect someone.
Yeah.
Everybody else dies on Chernobyl or whatever the fuck land they picked up and destroyed in the second one. Everybody dies but her. Witch Hunter says, dude, Aquaman was epic. I agree. I thought there were. I think I can't get out of my head is that like love scene in downtown Italy.
That was awful.
That was the worst part of my life, and Mantis didn't hit right for me.
And I thought Mantis was good, but the fact that they had this big climactic like civilization on civilization underwater battle at the end was cringe. That I thought it was epic at all.
Oh, really? When he was riding that Godzilla, underwater Godzilla, I laughed, but also thought he would be. He would be riding a fucking Godzilla underwater.
I just feel like a moment like that comes at the end of like the third Aquaman movie. Like you
Yeah.
start something off and it's a little lower stakes, like not world destruction with the
No,
very first Aquaman movie.
It's a good point.
And then you start the love interest, and then you breed that tension between the other people of a civilization, and then something bad happens in the second movie, and then he gets to a point where there's a giant climactic battle. You don't go right to world destruction.
I've never seen a love montage halfway through a movie so blatant. Like the movie changes, it slows down, everybody's smiling, the music changes. Dave Matthews Band's playing a live concert in downtown Sicily.
I've seen it.
We're just dancing.
I've seen it. You want to know what movie I've seen it in?
Star Wars.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, but they did that right.
Put Jim Carrey in an Aquaman.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have to take back my Jim Carrey stuff. I love the dude. I felt like I overdid it. It was just that one interview. Okay. That one interview really rubbed me the wrong way, and I was like, come on, Jim, don't be a douche.
I don't hold it against you.
I hold it against myself. Mopar went full douchebag.
I hold myself in contempt. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I really wanted to like Aquaman, but
I still like the character of Aquaman. He's
absolutely
epic, and I think they cast him perfectly.
100%.
That's the issue. I love DC's casting. Yes. All the way down. Way down. The small, stupid little characters, Boomerang. I'm like, dude, this guy's it. This is Boomerang.
Yeah, even Pedro Pascal and Kristen Wiig in Wonder Woman 84. Well, yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah, and then it's just, well, this one's, okay, perfect cast. Picture this. A wishing well. What? And then there's a stone.
I had to really think when I heard that they described, because like there's a heist at the beginning, and then like, what are they looking for? Oh, I don't know, a bunch of this stuff, and then there's this ancient stone. They work at the Smithsonian in DC, and they're like, oh, that's probably a fake. But Wonder Woman sees, and she's like, no, that's an ancient evil stone.
Ancient wishings.
I was like, you wish for something? Oh, and then get this, if people want to take their wish back and then basically reverse the bad thing that happened to them, they just had to say, I renounce my wish. And then it goes back to normal. Like there was this great dramatic scene when Wonder Woman's like, if I have to I got to save the world. If I want to do that, I need my powers back. And if I need my powers back, I have to basically kill my boyfriend and send him back. And there's this really dramatic scene, and she's crying, and he's about to leave, and it was so sad. And then she starts running away, like to get into battle. And she says, I renounce my wish. And I was like, you ruined the whole emotional scene for me. I renounce my wish. And then Chris Pine's just gone. It's like, fuck, man. Get one of those stupid deep fake audio things and just tell someone that, it was 1984. You can't do that.
Someone tell Anakin Skywalker there's still hope. It seems that in your anger you killed her. I renounce my wish.
Well, when bro wants to turn into the stone goes into like sand. So Anakin will be pissed.
No one's getting it now.
It like dissolves into sand, and then like he absorbs it or something. I don't know.
How do you become a stone? I'm done. He
absorbed the power of the stone, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it's not the stone you see. It's the charm or the curse or whatever that's put on the stone.
Does he float into scene and go, I am stoned now?
No.
Oh,
he's just a normal guy that can grant wishes. Basically a worse version of Aladdin. Or the genie from Aladdin, I should say.
Yeah. I hate this shit on DC stuff. A Wonder Woman. Again.
That's what I mean, though. If they it sounds like a dumb plot. But if they gave me character development and there was like a prologue scene where back in, 200 BC in ancient Greece, obviously we know Wonder Woman's culture is tied to that, all the gods and everything. And there was like a prologue scene of the god like making this stone in the first place. And you saw some of where it tracked throughout history, causing the destruction of civilization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Maybe I would have dug that. A couple scenes of Kristen Wiig losing her fucking mind. Maybe she has a boss that absolutely hates her, like Max Schreck from Batman Returns, and she gets vindictive and gradually goes crazy. Yeah, I could probably dig that. But, Such a
Yoda wished for galactic peace, and
That's a bummer.
and then Anakin was born. That's what happens. Wishing Stone fucked you
it
again,
does
bro.
take something in return. Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah, I hate doing that. I always like criticizing and talking and dissecting. I felt like this was a shitstorm of shittery.
Well, I try hard to not instantly, because I saw the reviews. We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
I went to IMDb to like check the actress or whatever, and I saw the review was a 5.7. Now it's a 5.5. I try not to shit on it that hard when I go in. So, like I said, I thought the performances were great. The score was great. Hans Zimmer doing some great work as usual. But sit back, think about it, and then, yeah. No.
Yeah.
Can't.
Is there any
I
movies?
can't let it sit like that. What?
New movies. Are there any movies?
Are there movies?
Honestly, at this point, The Tenet. I still haven't seen Tenet, and I've
The
heard nothing
Tenet.
but good thing. Is it called The Tenet?
I think you said The Tenet.
Oh, I meant The Tenet movie, I guess.
Yeah, I do need to watch that.
Interesting. I don't know. Oh, no wonder nobody can hear me. Shit's fucked.
I can hear you.
All right.
Now I can really hear you.
Morbius in March.
Morbius. What the fuck is that?
Isn't that the evil?
Yes.
We've talked about it. I know it. Morbius. Isn't it based on a
Who
villain?
the fuck is this?
What the fuck is this shit?
I feel like I watched that entire announcement thing like 3 times, and I do not remember anyone saying the word Morbius.
Jared Leto. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was one I think I don't know anything about, but I was hyped for. I just don't remember.
I mean, I'll see everything Marvel. So, I'm excited for this next generation of Marvel. Anyways, all right,
Roadmap.
time to go.
You think?
Yeah.
I searched DC Roadmap to see what films were coming out, and it picked up a map of Washington, D.C.
Obviously.
I see no Batman
Fallout
films
3.
scheduled for the next IA-95 over here.
Oh, man.
That sucks.
Does it, though?
That sucks. Was that the Batman movies canceled?
No.
Oh, that was the other thing.
What?
Wasn't God damn it.
Talk
Batman
better.
slotted to be Batman again.
Batman slotted to be Batman again.
Yes.
Michael Keaton you're talking about?
Yes.
It's not in the Batman. It's in a different thing, I believe.
Really?
He's supposed to be like an old Bruce Wayne mentoring some new, not Nightwing, but one of the new junior Batman people.
Oh, I see.
I can't remember what it was. Steve mentioned it when I was on Revenge of the 90s talking about Batman Returns.
This is from CNN. It says Michael Keaton reportedly will reprise his role as Batman in The Flash.
Oh, the Flash movie. I remember. Yes. Flashpoint, Bob Law says here. Yeah. That makes sense.
Oh, if they're doing a Flashpoint, I'm down. I almost
I'm going to
watched
watch
that again.
Batman vs. Superman before next week so I can talk about something that's actually good.
No, Jesus, pissed. Yeah.
They threw back in Wonder Woman 84. Hans did the score. He threw back a few of the musical themes from Batman vs. Superman, and I instantly started melting. I was like, "Oh my god, that's so tragic! I want to go watch it right now." That Batman theme that he wrote for PVS is like
They've always done
puts me in the fucking zone, dude.
For them jumping around in like Batman, kind of all over the place historically.
Yeah,
The soundtracks and or scores have been
always.
It's been great, man. As soon as I hear a violin, I'm like, beginning scene, Joker.
A violin, it could be anything.
Isn't that what?
Yeah, I know. I just as soon as I hear a violin, what,
I seriously think
Vivaldi?
I seriously consider robbing a bank right then and there. Where's my mask? Get my mask. I gotta.
Last thing, if you're looking for something new to watch, well, not new, something classic, the Batman animated series in its entirety is on HBO Max. That's on my list. I'm gonna start watching that. I haven't seen that since I was a child.
I'm sure it's pretty bad.
Okay. Bye.
Mopar
Episode 254 has concluded.
I guess, if to wrap this all up, it's a small issue in my own brain that DC animated films are so good, and then you come out with Wonder Woman 1984. DC animated films, it's all about story writing. You have the characters in front of you, you have the story, and you do wishing well, hopes and dreams. What? Let's get back to World War III between Aquaman and Wonder Woman during Flashpoint Paradox. I want to see that fucking on screen. Come on. You're already riding a goddamn Godzilla underwater in your own film. Let's do that against Wonder Woman. Like, that's so crazy. And there could be so much built tension or in a lead up to it, just like they did with Infinity War and the Avengers and all this shit. Do that same thing and lead up to a pinnacle Flashpoint Paradox film.
I wish they could, man.
But instead, I got to watch it in cartoon film and still enjoy it, thoroughly enjoy it. But, live action's always got an edge up on cartoon.
I look forward to seeing what they do next.
I am still, to end on a good note, I am still fucking hyped for Boba Fett. I'm hyped for Mando Season 3. I'm hyped for Cassian. I think Cassian might be my top hype. I just don't know what to expect anymore with Mando Season 3 with Baby Yoda or Grogu.
Yeah.
Kind of gone off. I'm excited because I like Cassian.
He's a good guy.
Is
well,
he?
thanks for that positive spin.
Let me tell you why I don't like Cassian.
We're not going into this.
Episode 250, we love appreciate.
It's over. The show is over.
Order! We shall have order. Who wants some wings, baby? I want wings.
Oh, boy. All right, everybody. We love you.
Gotta have them wings.
Thanks for tuning in. You're all fantastic.
Most of you are pretty good.
We're ending the stream now. Bye.